Shane Simmons, the Appalachian Project, and I'm at the gravesite of Octavia Hatcher in Pikeville, Kentucky. And that name may ring a bell, as she was literally buried alive back in 1891. She had went into a deep depression. She'd lost a child whose grave is right there, right in front of her. And I'll try to zoom in on that. I actually can't get into them. It's gated off now and locked up, but it's about as close as you can get. But she was buried alive. She went into depression after her child passed away, and then apparently there was some sort of disease that went around that made people go into very, very shallow breathing to the brink of death. And once they found out that that was going around, she had already been buried. They dug her body up, and apparently she had scratched and clawed and dug trying to get herself out of her grave. And unfortunately, she was in a very distressed state when they found her, which is actually my absolute worst nightmare. And of course, they've gated this off probably because you can see her hand is missing, her right hand, and part of the baby's head on its very, draws a lot of people. Obviously, I'm up here because I'm drawn to it as well, but I figured this is almost Halloween. Good time to start telling these ghost stories. Apparently, there's a lot of stories about how she will turn her back on Pikeville, and I'll kind of give you a shot of where she's located. It's up on this hill overlooking Pikeville, and there's talk that sometimes the statue will be turned backwards, as if she's turning her back on Pikeville, like the town had turned its back on her. According to legend, it's pretty close to the Pikeville College of Osteopathic Medicine. The Hatchers were a very prominent family, and so this was a huge deal back in its day. And a lot of different stories talk about the hauntings. There's talk of the baby crying. Of course, like I just said, the statue that turns around backwards. And then there's also, people have said you can hear scratching inside that grave at night. Very terrible story. Very spooky place and very tragic. And it's always worse when it's based on a true story. But I want to give you guys a shot of what that's like, kind of where it's at, located at in the town. Kind of hard to get up to here. You have to have a pretty kind of small vehicle to get around the cemetery. We'll have more stories like this as Halloween season approaches, but this is always one to like to start off with Octavia Hatcher. This is one that's always been around for a long time, and it's, as I said before, it's the most terrifying because it is based on a true story. At least her death was a true story. Whether the hauntings actually happened is anybody's guess, but we'll see if I make it back alive. I will talk to you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.